How's it going? Um, Here I want to talk a little bit about the crankbaits that I have and some castmasters as well that go along with like my hard bait selection. First of all, start off, I have two lipless crankbaits. These are both Cordell lipless crankbaits. One is a chrome one that I've used quite a bit. You can see by the scuff marks. And this is a craw color. I use the chrome one mainly as the flash to trigger the reaction strike. These are reaction strike baits, so I use this one to trigger the reaction strike mainly in stained water, and use this one around rocks, rock piles, dams, levees. This is really good in the Delta, California Delta. This will also work pretty well when you see the rock drop-offs near boat ramps, launches, stuff like that. So those are good. I also have two really cheap crankbaits I picked up at Bass Pro Shops just because, I can. I'll throw these into really thick, weedy areas covered where, if you got to cut them off, big deal. Both supposed to represent, crawdad, perch, crawdad, both of them, doesn't really matter. 8-foot divers, so they're kind of versatile. Now I have a whole box here devoted to crankbaits, and on each thing you probably saw a little orange highlighting behind. That's a thing of duct tape I use to, sticking myself, to tell me how deep they dive, just in case I forget. But my crankbaits I buy the Strike King Kevin Van Dam edition. And these are square bill. Most of mine are square bill, but this is a chrome shad, 3 to 5 foot diver square bill that tries to get the reaction strike from bouncing off the deflecting off the structure. I like to use the more natural colors like shad, sunfish, perch, a little bit of perch, not too much, but I like to use the shad colors especially. Here's another example of a 3 to 5 foot diver TN shad. Then I have two versions of this. I have a loud and a quiet version. This is a sexy ghost minnow. Again, 3 to 5 feet. I have a lot of 3 to 5 feet square bill Strike King KVDs. Here's another 3 to 5 foot bigger one. So if I'm catching 2-pound fish and I want to go in and catch bigger fish, I'll throw one of these. It's silent if the fish are spooky, they're kind of skittish. Throw one of these, you can trigger a strike. I also have a 6 to 9 foot deep dive wide wobble. This bait will wobble pretty wide in the water, trigger the more aggressive fish to come up and bite. This if you have a high-speed reel, I recommend for using something like that because it'll be easier on your on your wrist for cranking and stuff. Also have an 8-foot sexy shad that I usually start off with something like this, down 8 feet, and then I'll bring it back up, and it's nice, it's subtle, it's natural, and it tends to look really good in the water. Now this is actually my buddy Scott Knobloch's. I got to give it back to him, but this is a 10-foot Rapala. You can hear it has a few rattles in it. This is a 10-foot diver, but I would only use this kind of color if I knew the largemouth were feeding on perch and it's in stained or muddy water, because this thing is just ridiculous looking. This will work in the California Delta pretty good. But I still like doing other things when I'm there. Now this is another 3 to 5 foot sexy sunfish. I like this bait because of the red. It gives off the kind of blood look. I think that adds a nice touch. And then my last crankbait here that I have is a 10 to 13 foot chartreuse shad. This thing is a workout to use. It really gets down, digs in the mud. Really good. It's another wide wobbler, but a good bait overall. And then I have two castmasters. Try not to stick myself pulling them out. Have an 1/8 and a 1/4 ounce. Both same color, simple to use, cast and crank. You know, you can switch them, do whatever you want. But this is one of my favorite baits to use. I've caught stripers with them mostly up in Northern California, and I've hooked into, well, my buddy Bryce Colzar hooked into a 5-pound fish down here at Diamond Valley with one of these. You know, beautiful bait, fun to use, and that's for my crankbaits and my castmasters.